So yeah, as you probably heard last episode too, we talked about Marvel's November previews, and we were talking about DC's December previews, kind of leading up to next year. And we are planning on doing a overall bigger previews episode for January throughout all publishers. So this is kind of the stepping stone to that. But let's go ahead and discuss that though. December previews for DC Comics. What's your first pick?
Wow, we're just gonna jump right into my first pick.
That's right.
Oh, well, obviously, this is slightly cheating because this actually starts this month. But in those previews, I did see number 2 for the Doomsday Clock.
Yes.
And I'm excited for the Doomsday Clock. We've been waiting since pretty much the Rebirth issue to get this right here. Yeah, to get this. So that was like, what, over a year ago?
Yeah, it seems like a year, maybe a year and a half now.
Yeah, a year and a half now. We've been waiting a while to get to the Doomsday Clock. And so when I saw number 2 in there, I realized, number 1 comes out this month. Number 2, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Yeah, it was refreshing to see that we do get that this month. And it came out of nowhere. I saw that on the list as well. And I was like, oh, cool. Issue 2 comes out in December. So, all right, good. We are getting it this month. Feels like we have been waiting for it for a long, long time now. And I know we're both pretty stoked for that. And I'm glad you did pick that. My first pick is going to be Batman, Creature of the Night, number 2. So the first one actually starts this month as well. Another one. And this one's written by Kurt Busiek. Excuse me. With art and cover from John Paul Leon, I believe, yes. So issue 1 obviously starts this month. This is also spinning out of... this is the Elseworld story, I believe. Where Batman's the only comic book character. Young Bruce Wayne Wright is starting to feel a surprising strength and power grow inside of him. And after years of mourning the loss of his parents, that power feels intoxicating even. The question is, what will he use with all the power? So yes, Kurt Busiek has done Astro City. I haven't read too much of that. It's actually coming up later. It seems a weird, anything Batman, Elseworld type of deal. Obviously, we're talking about Elseworld story tonight, or today. Anything Batman weird related, I'm about it. How about you? You read this at all?
That was actually my second pick.
Oh, very nice.
That was actually going to be my second book. When I read that, I was like, that's interesting. Batman's just a comic book character, and essentially this other version of Bruce. I'm interested to see where that goes.
Right, and seeing it's 48 pages too. I'll pay the $6 for that.
Oh yeah,
there should be a lot going on in there. I assume. So since we had both our next picks were that, what's your third?
My third is actually Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
I saw that. I thought of you.
Yes, of course. I enjoyed the first one. I also enjoyed the... they've actually done... This would be I think the third one that they've done, because they did the prequel to this one. Okay. And then they did one based off of the animated series where they did a crossover there. And now they're back to doing this again.
I still need to go back and read
seems pretty exciting.
And I know you've been championing it for a long time. You and Brandon have always been talking about that. I need to read it at some point. I definitely plan on it. And it's good to see that it's good to see that it's continuing as well, because it's definitely working for DC. Fans are eating it up. And it's one of the most talked about crossovers every time it comes out. So it's no surprise that they're going to continue it on.
Yeah, the first one was a really good crossover, and if you still haven't read it, I would suggest that you read it.
Who's writing that?
Who was writing it? James Tynino.
Okay, James Tynan the Fourth, I believe. Yeah. Okay.
Tynan the Fourth. Yes, he's writing this.
Did he write the other ones as well? Same writer.
I think so. I'm not entirely sure if I'll pull it out one of the issues, but I think so. It sounds familiar.
Very cool. That's what's up. Yeah, I'll definitely plan on reading that as well. I'm sure we'll end up talking about this, because that book, well, after I go back and read them, maybe I don't have to read them, and I can jump in with number 2, and you can kind of give me some things that I missed that if I point out anything.
Well, based off of the preview, what they have here for the synopsis of that issue, you might be able to get away with that.
Okay, cool. Good to know. That is what's up. So yeah, my next pick is going to be Justice League number 34. And you know what? I haven't read a Justice League book since DC Rebirth started. I saw the writer's name. I wasn't too familiar when those DC Rebirths were coming out. I was looking at the list, picking out what the books I was going to be planning on picking up. And Justice League didn't make the cut. I was like, I'll wait. I'm not familiar with them. I don't want to spend the $2.99. Where I can spend it on something else that I like more. And I'm glad I waited because I hear it's not good right now. And the reason I bring that up is because Christopher Priest will be taking over the series with this issue. Christopher Priest is writing Deathstroke right now. He's on Black Panther. He's killing Deathstroke right now. One of my favorite DC books, the one I look forward to every week it comes out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and I think that's what Justice League needed. Because I guess it's been falling very, very flat lately. And I know you weren't reading Justice League either, so do you think you'll be picking this up?
I might give it a chance now.
Yeah, see?
But I know you were way more down on Justice League than I was, though, because you had been reading it at one point. It was
I still haven't read it yet.
Oh, you still? Oh, I could have sworn at one point you were kind of reading a couple.
Well, no, we did.
Like, no, I'm gonna back away.
Well, we did Justice League Suicide Squad. So that's like the only experience I've had with Justice League.
Wow, I remember that. That was a while ago. Wow.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well. So yeah, I hope you picked this up as well because I think Christopher Priest is really going to knock it out of the park with this. What's your next pick?
Was actually going to be Superman number 37, the Super Sons of Tomorrow arc.
Okay.
Obviously, the name of it gives away why I'm so excited for it. But it's from the solicit, it's supposed to be a crossover between obviously Superman, Batman, the Super Sons, and the Teen Titans. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see them all interact together, especially with the. Well, it's been a second since I read a Super Sons book, but
yeah, same
especially
here.
since the Titans have been coming into play with the Super Sons. So I'm definitely interested to see that.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't read that last Teen Titans issue. Woo, that was rough. That was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. But no, with Super Sons though, yeah, I saw that on the list or Superman, excuse me. I saw that on the list for that arc. And yeah, I kind of fell off Superman after that the whole vacation.
You know what? We fell off on Superman when they did the Parallax. I think that was the last thing.
Yeah, that was a whole vacation bit, and then Parallax happened, and then we jumped. I jumped off and didn't see what you've been following it right now either. Which is a shame because I know you're a bigger Superman fan than I am, and I was loving it at the time. But then I was like, oh, okay, time to take the breaks. I'll come back a little bit later.
Because they had that little vacation arc thing, and it like stopped dead in its tracks.
Yeah, huge bump in the road, and I'm hopefully maybe by this time they'll be back on track. PJ Tomasi is writing that, I assume.
He's writing it with Patrick Gleason.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, I have faith in that team because I know some of the arcs recently have been not that team. And I think they did write the vacation episode though, or the issue, which was rough.
Yeah, that was rough.
But I think I'll more likely. I think it will be. It's funny that we actually didn't choose Batman. Neither of us chose the earlier Batman because that's actually dealing with Superman and Batman coming together.
Yeah, I saw that.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not too hip on the Tom King train right now. I might pick it up just to see what happens because it does interest me.
I told you off air though. For me, when I was going through these, like it was just too much Batman. Like I love Batman, but it just seemed like it was too much Batman focused stuff. Give me a good 2, maybe 3 comics that have to do with Batman doing something in them, and I'm okay. But when there's like, there's Batman, there's Detective Comics, there's Batman in the Signal, there's Batman this, Batman that. Like, it's too much Batman. I get Batman to make it money. Yeah, there's so many Elseworld stories. Like I get that they had these stories to tell with Batman, But whew,
Yeah,
man,
and I
it's
definitely
a lot
feel
to
you with
take in.
that because it's definitely dealing with metal too. A lot of the things that are spinning out of that are getting their own little mini series or one shots out of
You know,
it. So they're going with the whole selling it on metal, selling it on these Elseworld stories, selling on Tom King's series. But yeah, there's a lot of Batman in this.
you know what's funny? Last episode we did a rival company who had a issue with having all these interesting books, but giving everything a lenticular cover.
Yeah, yeah,
And here we are dealing with DC, who like, they most of the stuff being released is Batman.
Batman. Yep.
Like they're focusing on one character. You know, he is a great character, but you guys got a bigger universe. You got some more opportunities to tell some good stories from other characters.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I don't know why. I don't know why they keep doing that though.
Mm.
All right. So we were with Superman. So yeah, that brings us to my next pick. Is I've been following this lately. It's the Future Quest presents the Hanna-Barbera stuff. And it's actually written by Phil Hester. These last couple of issues have been dealing with Space Ghost, which has been really cool to see, and the art has been amazing as well. And this one's actually going to be dealing with Birdman. So
What?
yeah, yeah. Have you read any of the Hanna-Barbera stuff in the past? Like some of the stuff we've been doing?
No, not
Okay.
really. I wanted to, but
Give
at the same
Flintstones a
time,
chance.
like,
Of all of them that came out recently, give Flintstones a chance. It's
really the Flintstones?
yeah,
Like really?
it's cleverly written.
I'll be honest, as a fan of Hanna-Barbera's properties, the thing that I will probably give an opportunity first is going to be Scooby-Doo. That's going to be the first thing I'm going to give an opportunity to. Will be Scooby.
Yeah, me it would be Space Ghost, which is one of the reasons why I started reading it. Then I saw Birdman. I was like, okay, I'm down for some Birdman. I haven't seen him in a while. I don't think I've ever read any of the Scooby-Doo books, though. I don't think I've ever picked up one. I've heard good things about the... There's an ongoing series right now. I can't remember the title.
Apocalypse. That's what I'm saying. I have the first couple issues of Apocalypse. I just haven't read them.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be getting some Birdman and his Falcon companion, which would be cool. Did this catch your eye at all? Were you like, oh, I might pick that up, or maybe Ryan will choose that and tell me how it goes?
Maybe Ron is choosing and tell me how it goes.
No, that's what's up. That's what I will definitely let you know. I recommend it. Going at least reading the current ones that they have out with involving Space Ghost. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, what's your next one?
My next one is actually no surprise to anybody, especially since we were just talking about this. It's going to be Super Sons number 11.
Nice. Is that starting a new arc?
No, that's Super Sons of Tomorrow, Part 2.
Part 2? Okay, crossing over with the 2 books then. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited. We for a while there, we were huge fans of the team of John and Damien on the show. I mean, I'm still a fan of them, even
still
though
a fan. I just haven't
fell off a little bit.
Yeah, same here. I think we're in the same boat with Superman family.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm definitely excited to catch back up with them and see what's been going on.
It's crazy to say. Like, I think since we started the show, we were like super hipped on Batman. We were covered that a lot, and really loving it. Then we kind of fell off. Unfortunately, we did come back. We did the trade episode of I Am Gotham because you hadn't read that yet, and then it happened with Superman as well. So maybe this is going to be the time to, at least for Superman, I think, to come back. But I don't know about Batman for me personally. Yeah, this week's issue, I'm still reading it to give it a shot to see where it goes. But it is just so light and nothing's there. I don't know. I hope you read it because I'd like to hear your thoughts when you get caught up with Batman. That you're pretty excited to see what happens with that. Obviously, no spoilers because you haven't read it yet. For you,
I haven't read it yet. Yeah. I can't be spoiled on this one. This is one of those ones I need to definitely go in because I've been waiting for how long ago was it when they gave that teaser? That was like 4 months ago, maybe.
Yeah,
something like that.
In the last issue, yep. And honestly, have you been following Jokes and Riddles at all? I don't think so.
Once again, it's one of those ones where I was picking up the issues. I just wasn't reading them. I was going to sit down and read all the Jokes and Riddles at one time because I thought that was an interesting premise. I like the Joker. I like the Riddler. That was an interesting premise.
This isn't a spoiler, but you don't necessarily, if you want to try to get caught up earlier, you don't have to read all of Jokes and Riddles. You can literally read the last pages of the last issue for it. Literally. I think there's maybe like 2 scenes. Jim told me.
Oh, okay. All right.
So just in case you want to get caught up, I skipped it personally. I fell off Tom King, as if you've been following. You've heard me say that before, and I think I may be falling off again soon enough. We'll see. Hey, well, at least got this weird Elseworld story to talk about later. So what do you got next? Or is it? No, it's me at this point.
It's you.
All right, so I got a dipping in the trade territory. This is a book that I had been following, and this was then I kind of fell off. Not for bad reasons. I just couldn't keep catching up with it. There was so much going on at the time. But it's Shade the Changing Girl Volume 2, Little Runaway trade paperback. I'm definitely gonna be picking this up because I do want to see where that all went. It was one of my favorite young animal books that did come out at that time. But real quick mention as well, Doom Patrol also comes out. Just within.
I was waiting for that. I was going to be surprised.
Young animal family, but I didn't put it on my list necessarily. But yeah, Doom Patrol as well. But yeah, I know you weren't necessarily following much of the young animal, outside of when we did Doom Patrol and Cave Carson a couple times. So I figured this wasn't on your radar.
It wasn't on my radar, but we did it for more than just Cave Carson and Doom Patrol. We also did Mother Panic.
Oh yeah,
and we did something else. This young animal. Yeah, but out of everything that we did when we were doing the young animal line, Mother Panic was the most promising thing for me. Like that's okay. If I see a Mother Panic trade, I might get it.
Yeah, I think it comes out as well next month. I know one of them at least because Young Animal is going on a break, and they're going to do a crossover with. Oh, I don't think I told you they're going to be doing a crossover with Justice League of America.
Young Animal, it's like
Doom Patrol. Okay. Doom Patrol. And
there we go. Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone might correct me if I'm wrong. But it's either Doom Patrol and JLA or some of the Young Animal people.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that could be. And I'd rather see the Justice League personally, but we'll see. This seems like a weird pairing with Lobo involved. I don't know. We'll see what happens though. But what's you got anything else after that though?
I actually have one more after that, which is actually going to be White Knight number 3. Is that shady?
Nah. Maybe I should have. Maybe you should have gone last. So we could have segued better.
We could have.
Yeah, obviously we're talking about that as well, and we haven't really talked much off air about this issue we're going to be talking about today. But we may be on the opposite side of the fence. We'll see. But I have a couple more. One main one, then one kind of a quick brief mention. Astro City number 50, written by Kurt Busiek, with art from Brent Anderson. It's their 50th issue, and it's it's going to be beginning a whole new story. So yeah, I've tried to catch up with Astro City. I have a couple issues. It's a world that I keep meaning to get into because I hear it's so rich and different. So I'm going to jump on with this issue and see where it goes and support the 50th issue for sure. Have you read any Astro City at all?
I have never read Astro City, but it was definitely something I was aware of, especially in the 90s.
Right. It's been going on for a while.
It's been going on for a while. I know it took a hiatus. I thought it ended, and it's coming back. I know the art always interested me because it was always like that. It was always like that more realistic art,
right? Alex Ross style.
Alex Ross. That's what I'm trying to think. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I can't believe I forgot his name for that brief moment. Yeah, it always reminded me of Alex Ross, and anybody who knows me knows I love Alex Ross's art. Amazing. So this is something I would definitely be willing to give a try, and if need be, I'll be willing to go back and read the first 49 issues.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we can talk about. I'll let you borrow it whenever I get it.
Woo.
Boom. So yeah, I have one more. It's not really something I'm looking forward to because it's not necessarily coming out this month. But there was this on the Newsarama where I pulled a lot of the stuff from, and I sent you the same link. they had Bat Signal number 2. I actually
Yes,
had to do some research because it actually doesn't come out until January. Because I had looked at the January solicits earlier than this because, again, we planned this kind of last minute. And I saw the first issue. I was like, hold on. So I went back and was like, okay. So yeah, although number 2 is on this list on the Newsarama, actually it was resolicited for January. But I am looking forward to, like a spoiler for when we do our previous episode, I am looking forward to Batman and the Signal number 1. I know you. I can't remember. I think you might have said that you were like, about it.
I wasn't iffy about it. I liked it. I think I was iffy about what they did with Duke.
Okay. Yeah, right. That's right.
The whole metahuman thing. I like the idea though of in the name. I don't really like the Signal. That doesn't really.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I think they should have took a couple extra days to come off with a better name.
I think it might. But it might grow on me though. I think over time.
It could, but I do like the idea of Batman grooming him to do what none of the other Bat family does, which is basically take care of crime during the day. Exactly. I like that idea. If you have a day shift guy and then you have this whole night shift team, so that's pretty interesting.
And I love the fact that what really entices me to read it as well, because Duke isn't a Robin, and he prides himself on that. So I really want to see how he uses that to fight crime and all that, and grow as a character.
Same here. I want to see if he has any. I want to see if he handles things any differently than the Bat family does, especially considering he's dealing with daytime crime. And I wonder if he'll end up. I know he will. I wonder if he's going to end up crossing paths with any like regular Batman staple villains.
Yeah, maybe a couple, and maybe he'll learn or not learn, but maybe they'll like foster some of his own original ones. That'd be kind of cool too.
Well, when I was reading the solicit, it seems like he may be, because they talked about some kind of teenage villains or something like that. So maybe he will have his own villains.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll be covering that as well. That will be very fun, I bet. That's Scott Snyder as well, I believe, right?
I think so.
Or is
it if so, that makes it even better. And I know somebody else who will be wanting to read that.
That's right. All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead. That's all the previews that we got. Again, we're going to be doing a bigger previews episode come in next month in December. We'll be discussing all the publishers that have all their solicits for January of 2018. So that's going to be a very, very hefty episode, I bet, because I already looked at it already, and Marvel has their heavy hitter stuff coming out with the whole Legacy bit. They are coming strong.
Oh yeah.
At the same time, DC's coming strong. And I know some of the other companies are coming out strong too. So yeah, all eyes are on January previews. But with that being said, though, we're going to be talking about, again, Batman White Knight number 2 of 8 issues, and written by Sean Murphy and Matt Hollingsworth with art, and they both did art as well. But let's go ahead and get into that review. We're going to be doing this review a little bit differently as well. We're actually going to be breaking it down. So yeah, we figured, there's a lot of stuff to dissect in this. Why not go ahead and spend 5 hours doing that? So let's go ahead and get into that. So as we get into the start of the issue, it's Joker. He's in the courthouse, laying it all out there to the jury and the politicians and everyone who's attending the court in the hearing, and pretty much blaming the politicians for creating the Joker, creating that sort of fear that Gotham would need. And he lays it all out there that essentially all the politicians, they wanted to make money off of crime, so they just kept feeding all these lies to the Gothamites, and Joker's pretty much fed up with it, and he was able to obviously in the last issue we found out that he does take the pills, and that cured him. He's now sane, quote unquote, at the moment. Not sure. Obviously that has to change at some point, but it's hard to say where that's going to end, just as we get through the issue, because you see everyone. You see Gordon there watching on at the police station. You see Batman. So we're still in the past as well. I should point that out. But yeah, essentially he lays it out there, and he's able to let him or get set free because he's innocent. He's proven his innocence, and they have nothing to hold him on, and they let him go.
Just like the closing scene of the first issue, it was very strong. It goes to show that when he's not the Joker, like he's still an extremely smart guy, and it was interesting the fact that what he lays out, how he says the fact that he's never technically done any of the stuff that they say he's done as the Joker. He's never
Yep.
technically killed anybody. He's never technically attempted to kill anybody.
The fact that they've never been able to prove it either, at least.
Yeah, and the fact that he just says like they just saw a way to make money, and so they kept trumping up these charges, and they kept using it to hype up the Batman, or whenever they wanted some kind of spending, and then, people were against it. They just let the Joker out. Oh, he caused all this panic and mayhem. Don't you wish that we had this stuff in place? And then they're able to spend whatever they wanted. That was very interesting. The whole entire court scene, the whole thing that he said, even the analyze what they were doing on the news when they had the reporters analyzing it, and they were kind of like, it's the Joker. Like, this guy's the Joker. We can't trust him. Yeah, but he makes a good point. He technically hasn't done any of this stuff. There's evidence that shows he hasn't done any of this stuff. So that whole thing, that was very strong.
It was definitely a strong opening scene, and it really does like give off the fact that he was studying the entire time. Like you get a mouthful. There's so much. I was like kind of taken back for a moment when I saw the dialogue bubbles. I was like, whoa. But when you see how it all is laid out with the panel transition as well, it was really good. And like you were touching on earlier, also the fact that they ended up turning. He says that they ended up turning Old Fort Arkham into Arkham Asylum because of him. They made that place. So he's really laying it out there that and showing the people that our politicians, our policemen, Gotham is fucked up, and now which is more than likely may start riots in the end because they do mention that some of the all the Gothamites are starting to go against. And again, there's still some of that social commentary as well with police brutality thrown in there. So there's a lot of it's a collage of continuity that's really that we see throughout the entire issue so far. And
yeah, that'll come into play a little bit later because there's something else that they pulled in here yet again from another Batman mythos. So
right, and we can move on from there because on his first night after he gets released, he actually goes to Harley's house or her apartment, which is at Zoinko's joke shop. So yeah, before he can even open the door, you see a little panel transition of him getting very close to opening it, but Harley already knows he's there. Opens it up, and you at first you're like, okay, this is a New 52 Harley, and
yep.
So you get that because it gets weird from there.
Yes, it does.
But it's kind of cool though because when they do enter, it looks like she's been decorating for Halloween. So all this isn't coming out on our episode isn't coming out on Halloween. I'm glad this was inspired to do that for us. But yeah, she goes on and she's super excited to see him. She just wants to go ahead, strip his clothes off, and get boogie down real quick. And he's like, "That's not Joker, or that's not Jack Napier. I think we should start calling him now."
Yeah, Jack.
Good old Jackie boy. But yeah, he's there to actually apologize to her and say, hey, I've did so much wrong to you. I mean, he's trying to correct make things right. But this Harley, she doesn't necessarily really care about that, and she's kind of playing off the fact oh yeah, this is all a joke, right? You just did that so you can get to me, and now let's go rob a bank. He's like, no, and he actually proposes to her.
Yeah, pulls out a ring. He's like, look, I'm gonna marry you.
Yeah, pulls out the ring. You see the bling reflection on there as well, and you see that panel of her. She's kind of shocked and confused, and then she straight to just busts out, points at him, and starts laughing. And Joker's like, no, I'm being dead serious.
I'm gonna finally give you what you always wanted.
Exactly. I guess this Harley doesn't want that. Oh
no.
But yeah, she punches him, and she's like, "What did you just call me?" Because he ended up calling her puddin', and he's like, "Stop with all the pills," because And this was a kind of weird transition because after she punches him,
look, who are you telling? This was weird.
Yeah, because you see the pills just all of a sudden next to him in the next panel, and he's kind of on his back, and the pills are out, and you don't necessarily see anything leading up to the pills possibly coming out. I mean, besides Harley punching him, but it was a kind of weird transition for me. But I was like, oh, okay, well, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in this book. I was like, okay, I'll go with it. But yeah, he's trying to get his pills, but we see someone else, because what does he say? Harley actually blames the pills for messing up with his head, and she's like, you don't need them anymore. But then we see a hand come out, and it's good old Harley, animated series Harley.
Yes, OG Harley.
Yes, and came out of left field. Because it's like, okay, so this is actually, there are actually two different Harleys in this universe. But at the same time, it's animated Harley, and it's hard to describe. I guess I just would have thought that, because the book does this a lot of throwing all the continuities that we know at each other. I would have thought we would have got a different approach, a new story, in a way, for this Elseworld story, besides it playing off of what we already know and kind of mixing the two. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I was waiting for this opportunity to shine with this part. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
At first, this threw me off. Okay, at first it threw me off a little bit, and what I was thinking before I read a little bit further was that they were giving us a visual representation of Harley's mental stability. I was looking at it as if the New 52 was an alternate personality. That was the personality that she created to cope with the way the Joker she felt was treating her, and that was the classic OG one was her actual real personality. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, except it was a little weird seeing her sit there with the hyenas around her, and I'm kind of like, well, maybe it's not. So then I kept reading. Mm-hmm. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Because she goes on to explain to him, like I think the next page, that when she realized that the part of him that was the Joker took over too much, when she realized he was too obsessed with Batman, she essentially.
Let's not jump there just yet.
Okay, yeah, all right. Even though it goes into this, what I'm about to say ties into this part right here. But for what you're asking, it was weird. It was jarring, and it was strange to see two different Harleys. To see, like you said, the OG Harley and the New 52 Harley.
Right.
So that as a fan of Harley, that was weird. The explanation they gave me a little bit later, I was okay with.
Yeah, and they give you like a little bit of an explanation with this scene because she's like, get it straight. The animated Harley, she's like, get it straight, sister. You love Joker, I love Jack. You love his flaws, I love him despite his flaws. And now that he's cured, he's mine. So buzz off. So yeah, you get a sense there that obviously this are two different Harleys, and these, like you said earlier, dealing with the mental state of both of them.
Even then, that still seems like if they would have went with the split personality thing, that still seems like main personality is now the other personality because of that comment. I let you take over because that wasn't Jack, that was Joker, and you like Joker. But now that Joker's gone, you gotta go back.
Right.
So even then, that would still make it seem like it's two different personalities.
Yeah, or this is all in his head. He's seeing her. That could always be a possibility.
That could have been until you keep reading and you realize that's definitely not a possibility.
No. But yeah, because it jumps from that scene. We'll come back to that later on. But we see this is a really cool. The art's amazing. This is a really cool page because we do see Mr. Freeze standing in front of his wife, and yeah, so we catch back up with kind of what's going on with Alfred. Not really, we don't get any insight into it, but we do at least know that they are testing some sort of freeze tech to bring back Alfred for his youth and bring back Lenora. I always forget her name. Is it Lenora, his wife?
Is it Lenora or is it Eleanor? I'll go with Lenora.
Okay. For
right now, I'll go with Lenora.
Yeah, so they end up doing a little test on a couple mouse to see, with the regeneration, if it does speed up too much or if it actually stays at a normal speed and not allowing the person to get old fast and die. So they do test that out. But then Victor Freeze, he actually, after he sees a quick test of it, okay, cool, it works. And Bruce is like, well, hold on, we gotta wait a little bit, see the after effects, give it a moment. But Victor's not about that life, and go ahead. He plugs himself up with it, and quickly, his almost his helmet like turns to this tannish smoke, and after they take off the helmet, excuse me, you see almost this gray, decrepit Victor Freeze head, and it was really creepy because it essentially sped up his age, so he was slowly but surely dying real quick, but he doesn't die in the end. But yeah, what did you think of that whole transition, though?
I thought that was interesting because if you remember when we did book one, I was commenting on the fact that they were reaching and grabbing all these things from all these different sides of the Bat universe and all these different Bat realities, and one of the things that they grabbed was something from the movie, and that was the fact that they were saying that Alfred was sick, and the whole setup they did this in the first issue with Batman working with Mr. Freeze to cure Alfred,
right,
and his wife. And I had commented that was part of one of the side plots in everybody's favorite Batman movie, Batman and Robin. It was funny because I was wondering if they were going to keep the disease the same, and they did. They called it McGregor's disease in here. That's what it was in the movie. I think his wife had like stage 3, and Alfred has like stage 1. But the whole setup, the whole thing was interesting. Barbara was hilarious with the mice. I was a little surprised. Yeah, she was the highlight of the scene, but I was surprised at Freeze because, yeah, he's cold-hearted. Yeah, he's been like this for a while, but he's still a scientist in there. And I would have thought that Freeze would have definitely been like, you're right,
Yeah, let's take a step back. Exactly. That threw me off as well. Yeah. I'm really glad you pointed that out.
I was cool with him saying, let's do it now. But once Bruce was like, wait a minute, we need to wait and see if there's any side effects, that's when I would think Freeze about, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm too anxious. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Let's wait and see. But no, he just dies right in there.
And especially if it's going to be in that same continuity where we know Victor would be smart enough. Like you said, he is the scientist.
Yeah,
he would be smart enough to take a step back and think about it before being that rational.
Yeah, but he just decides to do it, and he ages like 50 years.
Yeah. Yep, I think that's what they said too.
They did, which was interesting because they gave a time frame for this Freeze being like this, and they also implicated that Bruce's dad may have something to do with him being Freeze.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because it's mentioned very quick, literally, because Victor goes on to say, with the help of Mr. Wayne and the Third Reich, I thank you and your father, for that. I was like, now please leave us alone. He drops it real quick. He's like, my father. And then that's when everything happens real quick as far as Victor testing it on him. So, yeah, that could be skipped over by anyone easily. But I think because it was so quick, I thought, if some people may have skipped it over and, they're hearing this, they're like, oh, I didn't even catch that. But yeah, I think that's going to come into play later, but I have no idea how is the thing. That's where all this weird continuity that's being thrown at us comes into play, and it's a thinker, but luckily we have 8 issues to hopefully get all these little weird niches resolved.
Yeah,
they're throwing so much at us. It's I don't know.
I was gonna say they are throwing a lot at us. If you're not somebody who's familiar with like different versions or alternate realities or all these different Batman stories, it is a ton to even know what's going on, because they are literally taking stuff from movies, from old cartoons, which will come in. Hold on, which will come into play later in the book where they did take something else from the cartoon. But yeah, like you said, the Dark Knight, they're taking stuff from everywhere. So you have to be kind of versed in Batman lore to really pick up on every little subtle thing that they're doing in here. Some of it's subtle, some of it's big. So, yeah. Whew. If we didn't have some knowledge of Batman, I think we'd be pretty stuck on this one.
I think we would too.
Well, it's just interesting because after we get from this scene with Freeze, that's when we get to pick back up with, I can't even say Harley Quinn and Joker. I have to say Jack and Harleen.
Yes.
because they go back to Harlene's place, I should say. And after she takes off the makeup, they sit down and have a conversation. And what a conversation they have, because Jack finally asks, like, so you actually hired or you got somebody else to pretend to be you? How did I never notice this?
Yeah, and real quick, it was a very natural way to set up the conversation too, because it just all started by her asking Joker if she wanted tea.
Oh yeah, he was like, "You drink tea?"
She was like, "Well, yeah, if you never gave me the bother to notice that type of thing." But yeah, then it goes into what you were saying. But go ahead, sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, you're right. I completely forgot that it was that simple question that started off this really deep conversation between the two. But and then she kind of tells him like, yeah, you never really paid attention to me, and so it was easy that once I saw something I didn't like, or I saw that you weren't the person that I really fell for, it was easy to just replace me with somebody else, and you never even noticed. But then she goes to the whole explanation of why she kind of fell out of love, or why she kind of was scared of the Joker as opposed to Jack.
Yeah, from their very first meet. It is a little different than, I mean, not, well, it gets different very soon, actually.
The general setup is pretty much the exact same that we've always known. She psychologist, she treated him at Arkham, she fell from Arkham, broke him out, they became the Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
was all basically
Paul Dini's origin for her.
Yeah, that was basically the same. But then we start drifted into New 52 territory, where we start seeing that she saw that he became increasingly obsessed with the Joker, with Batman.
Batman, right?
And, she was obsessed with him and being with him, and in turn, Joker was obsessed with Batman and getting Batman's attention, to the point where he started pushing Harley more and more to the background. And she saw that he was getting way too obsessed. And the breaking point was when she came home and saw him with Jason in the basement, which obviously is replaying the Death in the Family.
Right, and yeah, but it doesn't go necessarily Death in the Family route.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily go there, no. Because what we find out that when she saw this, she tries to stop him. And when she can look in his eyes and see, like, the Joker has completely taken over and Jack's not there, he's too obsessed with Batman. Mm-hmm. She actually goes and strikes a deal with the Bat.
Yeah.
They never find Jason. When they get there, Jason is gone, but Batman does find Joker, nearly kills him, he nearly beats him to death.
That's real quick. That's another thing. Since we don't know where Jason Todd is, I need to know. It's really weird because I guess I need to know the rules on how all this works, as far as blending so much of these continuities together, twisting it. It just seems odd. I can get past it because we do have so many issues left. I just hope it's wrapped up nicely, and it was worth, because we got kind of with the X-Men world right now with the whole Mojo nostalgia, a lot of nostalgia here. It's a little darker, a little twisted, but I just hope it comes out in a nice bow tie, personally.
It was funny that you say that, because I was thinking that earlier as you were breaking down one of the scenes, and I was kind of like, when I piped in and I said that you have to be versed in Batman lore to get a lot of this. That's the nostalgia factor coming in. You have to be nostalgic and know all these different things about Batman and all these different stories in order to get a lot of this stuff.
Right.
So it is weird. I'm trying not to hold it to any specific rule. Like you said, you want to know what the rule is. I'm trying to pick up on what the possible rules are by the way they're presenting everything.
Right, and how, or at least how things have played out in the past, so to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm recognizing what they're taking from, but at the same time, I'm not holding them to how that originally ended or how that originally went.
Right, exactly.
Because I know they're going to twist it. They're going to twist it some way, so I'm trying not to hold them to, like Jason Todd. I know what the end with Jason Todd was, but they presented it slightly different here, so I'm not going to hold them to what the end is that I know.
Right, exactly. And I do want to go back to the earlier conversation they had when the scene started, because there's a line that Joker says. He says it's still inside of me, Harley, distorting reality and skipping around in the dark. So we do at least know that he is struggling with holding it back, and if he does lose those pills, that's always an option. But he may not need the pills for what he does by the end of this.
Exactly.
But yeah, there was more of this scene though. For the most part, I believe, yeah, because they end up on the roof.
Oh yeah, she strikes the deal with Batman. They don't find Jason. He almost beats Joker to death, which is how this whole series began. Was with Batman almost beating Joker to death. But he stops, and it turns out that Batman talked to the courts and got her a reduced sentence. And not for attempting to save Jason Todd, more for keeping Batman from killing Joker.
For narking on her.
well, she says he did it more because I kept him from killing you. So that was really, if it wouldn't have been for Harley, if Batman would have just found Joker or would have just found out about this on his own, he would have killed Joker.
He would have killed Joker.
He would have beat Joker to death. And Harley saved him. Yeah, and then after we get all that explanation of the whole flashback that Harley gives us, we get to catch back up with him on the rooftop, and he asked the question, "Did Joker kill Robin?" And Harley tells him, only you know that, and that's not a memory that he has. And she tells him it'll probably come back to him, but he's at a point where he doesn't want it to come back. He doesn't want any of those Joker memories to come back because he says he wants to live a different life. And he lets her know like he wants things to change, and he wants to help change Gotham.
We need to save Gotham.
Yeah, we need to save Gotham. And basically, he's telling her like he needs her by his side so that they can be heroes now. He wants Jack and Harleen to save Gotham and be considered heroes instead of the villains that they once were.
Right, because he wants to turn Gotham against Batman by portraying him as a villain, which he does. Starts to do a good job in the next scene a little bit. But yeah, he's like saying how he wants to show the damage that he and the Joker. So he doesn't even refer to himself as the Joker anymore, which I thought was very telling of what he's trying to do as far as Jack Napier goes. He's really trying to forget that this horror was done to him. He truly feels like a victim, and I do get that sense from the dialogue, which is I think written very well. But yeah, he's ready to expose the corporation or the corruption. Between the politics and all the vigilantes out there. So yeah, all the other superheroes need to watch out as well. I wonder if we will. Maybe we'll get like a whole. I can see him doing it now. Dark Knight, Green Arrow style cameo.
Yep.
calling it now. See it coming. In a weird, twisted way, which I might be fine with. But yeah, again, I guess when it comes to nostalgia, I think we're getting more of a weird, twisted story here than we are in the Mojo World crossover. This one is a little bit more enticing and wanting to return to. But yeah, again, anything else on the end of this rooftop scene you want to go on?
Oh, let's hit the next thing. 'Cause the next thing is very interesting.
Yes, because we do. It's we end up at a gala with Bruce Wayne. Looks like he's donating a car, really fancy car. It looks like, and there's this one asshole there who has a bodyguard, and they're trying to enjoy themselves. And it comes on the news that Joker and Harley have decided to. What was it? They built they're building a library. So all the settlement money that he got from the Batman, what do they call it, the Batgate attack case.
Batgate.
Yes, all the money that he got from that, he was donating to build its first library. So really showing that he's trying to, turn this Gotham slum into something prosperous, opposed to it always being dark and filled with crime and whatnot. And Batman kind of gets word of this, and he hears it on the TV as well. And the one guy there is kind of being just a really snooty asshole, and not knowing obviously that it is Batman. He goes on to say, actually, yeah, man, our company has been profiting off of Batman and all the crime that he does, and we love it. That's why we should keep it going. And Bruce says, he's a little feisty right now with everything going on with Alfred. And now dealing with the whole Joker bit, we do start to see a little bit of that villainous asshole Bruce coming out, and that might end up starting to bite him in the ass later. But what were some of your thoughts on this scene?
It was interesting because, and this is why, It was interesting because I'm kind of mad I don't remember the guy's name. Pierce. That was the guy's name.
Pierce, yes.
It was interesting because Pierce says he tells how they've been profiting. And he
Yes.
talks about when Batman goes in to fight crime in a certain area and Batman's seen in a certain area, it becomes I think he could call it a hot spot.
Yep.
And he was saying that bat impact zones, that's what they're called. And
Yeah,
he
it
said
drops
that
the
once
price of the real estate.
it drops the price, they swoop in real fast, they buy it, but in order for the area to be rebuilt, it comes from taxpayer money. So they're technically not paying for anything, and they're able to resell the property once everything's rebuilt for a higher price.
Yeah,
I was like, that is interesting. That is incredible that they decided to put that in there.
Yeah, yes, it is. For many reasons. One being that it's an actual thing that happens. It happens a lot around here when that sort of crime. Because I would say where I used to live, probably about 20 minutes. That's become gentrified now, and there's just so much stuff popping up, and just neighborhoods, around the way as well. It's happening everywhere. So it was weird for that to. I necessarily don't. Not a big fan of seeing that kind of politic brought into a comic book personally, and that one to hit home so much, and plus being the cop brutality, so they're mixing a lot in this
Social
series.
Justice Warriors, like there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they dropped that earlier. I forgot to mention that.
I did too. But this is the thing. I'm with you on not having that all deep inside comics. We've had this conversation before about politics and stuff inside comics, and I don't think that there's no place for politics in comics. I don't think it needs to be in every comic, and I think that a writer needs to pay attention to what story they're telling, and does it make sense to have that stuff in that story? I think it makes sense to have all of this in this story for the story that they're telling.
It does, because they are trying to put everything against Bruce. And no better way to do that than do the worst.
Oh yeah.
So which makes sense. He actually ends up punching Pierce out, and Victoria was that her name, Victoria?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. After he punches Pierce, she's like, what's gotten into you? And she's kind of like siding with Bruce, or not siding with Bruce. Excuse me, siding with Pierce. As she's like holding him. So yeah, we're starting to see something go down with Bruce, and it's a very, very short scene. We don't actually get much Bruce in this, which is actually funny. I think we probably will end up seeing more of him, because at some point we have to get to how he got chained up into a cage in a basement.
Yeah, at some point we got to get to. Well, it wasn't in the basement; he was in Arkham.
Or Arkham, yes, he was in Arkham.
Remember, he was in Arkham. We got to get to that scene in the first.
I'll say he's probably in the basement of Arkham then. Like
he probably is in the basement. Of Arkham. we got to find out how he got in the basement of Arkham and how Jack ends up with the Batmobile.
Yes, we do, and so much. And if Harley's even real, who knows?
I think she's real. You're gonna go with this whole she's not real. I think she is real.
She probably is. We'll see what happens with that though. But you want to take this scene, because this was.
Oh my!
I'm
goodness.
sure you went bonkers when you saw this scene.
This was so animated Batman series when I read it, and they even
the art style,
the design of a couple of the characters, some of the dialogue, like it was straight nudge and wink poke push. Like you get what we're doing, right? This is the animated series. You get it, right? But we pick up at a meeting in the next scene, and we see Jack and we see Harleen, and it turns out that it's slowly revealed that they're having a roundtable meeting with some of Batman's most famous rogues. And there is a line in there that he throws that is actually the name of an episode that features something similar to this.
Deep cut.
Yes, deep cut. Deep cut. He mentions in the line, whenever we speak it turned into a game of who almost got him. That was the exact name of a Batman episode called Almost Got Him from the animated series that featured a bunch of the rogues playing poker, and they were telling stories of how they almost killed Batman.
Okay.
That was the one when Killer Croc was like, yeah, I hit him with a rock. And they were like, uh-huh. That was hit him with a rock. But we see like Darla Dimple in there, which I have never actually seen in
Yeah,
a regular Batman comic, and that was awesome because I loved her on the show. I
yeah,
wanted
and
to do more with her.
I hadn't seen the animated show in a long time. I just saw it is on Amazon Prime right now, so I think I am gonna start watching that again.
But you
Yeah,
recognized Darla Dimple, though, didn't you?
I recognize. I couldn't remember who she was though.
She was a TV star. She was a child star
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yep.
who doesn't age,
That's
and
right.
it ruined her career because she couldn't age. She always looked like she was like 6 or 7 or something. And so when she wanted to actually go and have a real career after her TV show ended, she couldn't, and she slowly went crazy because she has this disease. And this is something else that is in this scene. They hint at it in the scene. They don't blatantly say it, but they hint at it. There's another episode in the animated series where her and Killer Croc actually become kind of a couple, and she falls in love with Killer Croc.
Okay.
And who was she hugged up with and sitting all close to in this scene? Killer Croc.
Killer Croc. That's funny.
But this whole scene features everybody. It features Poison Ivy. It features
Wesker.
Bane, Two-Face. Yes, the ventriloquist
yeah.
is there. But Jack tells them like, in order for us to cure this problem, this is where it gets weird because this is when he almost seems like the Joker again.
Yeah.
I don't know if
this is where rules come in.
It almost seems worse than the Joker because he was able to do what he did. But he basically says, we can stop Batman if we actually all work together for once. We never work together. It's always, I almost got him, and then we end up trying to kill each other. You guys will try to kill me. I'll try to kill you. I have a plan to get Batman. And nobody's with it. Everybody's like, no.
Right.
So then we get another flashback that shows us that, because at this point, Harley pulls out the Mad Hatter's hat and gives it to the Joker. And in this flashback, we see that they attach some of these electrodes to Clayface. And they used it to force Clayface to break himself down in the dust. And the dust they took and they poured into these alcohol bottles, which is the alcohol that they're serving all the guys at the meeting.
Yep.
Which means that they are all ingesting mind-controlled versions of Clayface, which the Joker then uses to actually take control of everybody at the party. And that last little shot that we have at the end, when he's standing there with Harley and everyone's sitting around him, yeah, and she's kind of like, "Are you sure about this? Is it working?" And he's like, "Of course it's working. We got him." And we just get that last little shot of everybody mind controlled, and it's like, okay, I'm not sure if Jack is scarier than the Joker, because I kind of think Jack might be scarier than the Joker.
Or, Jack can really twist it on us and really use this as in a non-lethal, villainous way. Maybe that's what he's going for at the same time, just because I'm not sure. Because like you said earlier, this is a very confusing part because we wouldn't expect, I think, Jack to maybe take this approach with it. Use a villainous team. Maybe continue to use a law to break down Batman and manipulate. Well, not necessarily manipulate people in this way, but maybe just through going at the politicians. This is really, and this is where the issue ends as well. But this really is a wait and see kind of story. Oh, yeah. As far as what happens next.
What's wild is because if you remember in the first issue, we got to the end, and I was like, what if it turns out the Joker's never been crazy? What if he's actually been pretending to be the Joker this whole entire time? Mm-hmm. And now we're actually seeing him embrace who he really is. What if this really is who he is? What if Jack is, he's kind of villainous, but he's way more calculating than the Joker is. The Joker was a facade he put on where he had to act unpredictable and had to do these things. But now he's thrown that away. He's shed that image. He's got his girl by his side now. And, if you remember, also, I've said it a while ago, to me, this is one of the scariest things they could do in comics with Joker and Harley was to have them be an actual couple. And what if we're getting not only sane Jack, but we're getting sane Jack who's going to put that into effect? Like, they're actually going to be a couple, and it's going to be insane. Because this is already insane. This whole little scene, that's insane.
Yeah, it is.
And it's something that I don't see Joker ever trying to do.
Yeah, it really is a wait and see. I can't wait, though. Granted, I'm really indifferent about it just because all the weird nostalgia that's being thrown at us and the like I said earlier, the collage of these continuities. It's
Love it. Love it.
yeah. I'm at a standstill right now. Excuse me. I'm still getting over this cold. Yeah, I'm still at a standstill.
That's perfectly fine.
But
I love
it
it.
was a great great cliffhanger.
They both ended with
I have more
great cliffhangers.
questions, I think, than thoughts with this book, this issue in this book right now.
Because you still want to know. You want rules. You want rules for what they're allowed to use and how much they're allowed to change stuff, don't you?
Well, this being an Elseworld story, I know it's going to be different. Anything goes. But I just would have expected a Elseworld story that doesn't rely on what we've already seen and so much of it. Like maybe if they took one story bit, but they really are throwing every medium of Batman at us.
And I think that's why we're different opinions on this, because I love the fact that they're taking so much from it and twisting so much of it at the same time. I've read Elseworld stories, and when I use the word Elseworld, that's not just limited to DC. It's limited to any other company who have told stories that take place in alternate realities, alternate worlds. But I've read plenty where they use a little bit of this, and and they keep it basically the same. Just go a little bit like a lot of what they did with the Days of Future Past. That's a prime example. Days of Future Past has been told a bunch of different ways, and it always has the same beginning of it, and then they go like, okay, well, last time this is where the story ended. We're just going to go a little bit further here, so you kind of know what you're getting. With this, you don't necessarily know what you're getting. Like, I can recognize.
That does make it exciting. It does make it exciting. That's why I want to see. I'm still excited to see how this ends and how this wraps up, because there is so much there. There is so much to talk about. Especially if you, like we were saying earlier, if you have read the animated or saw the animated, if you've seen every little piece of Batman medium that's in this book, you're probably like, okay, what does this all mean? What is the point of doing this? I guess I'm in for the slow burn, and I can't wait for the slow burn to end, because I do want to see what this all means, and if it does truly serve a purpose for combining all this together.
I'm gonna say this much: as of right now, here we are with issue number 2 of this series. There's 8 in this little. Is it? You just said 8, right?
Yeah, it was originally 7. They added an issue.
Oh yes, I'm so glad they did that. Okay,
I'm glad too, because it means we have so much more coming. So much more bonkers shit coming.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't often always say this, and there's only been a couple of series where this has happened with. I wouldn't mind spending extended time in this universe. I wouldn't mind if there was another mini or maxi series that came after this, or even a limited ongoing series. I would be invested in this.
I think I would too. By the end of this, depending on how this all ends, I think I would too.
I would be this for me would be almost like when I read Renew Your Vows.
Okay.
I was like, I kind of want this to go on a little bit further. I like what this world is set up. I like what's going on here. I feel the same way. I like the way this is being set up. I like what's going on here. And I would be invested.
We'll have to wait a year for this whole metal thing to end.
Oh yeah, the mixed blessing of metal.
Yes.
Oh boy, I was just talking to somebody about metal, and
I like the metal, but just like the idea of all the one shots and the weird stuff coming out of it.
That's what we got to talking about. That's exactly how the conversation went. Oh yeah, I personally, I don't know. I want to see what happens in this series, and if it does become an ongoing series, I'm going to be mad that metal holds it up.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, I'm not sure. Again, it really depends on how it ends, because I may not need much more of this world after this, depending on where this all goes. But maybe there's still some other questions or routes to take, or maybe they set up a Batgirl type of series out of this for her maxi. That would be kind of cool.
That's what I was gonna say. This would be like when they did Flashpoint. Like Flashpoint, yeah, you could tell the basic story, follow Barry, what's going on.
Right.
What was interesting with Flashpoint was you get in there and it was interesting seeing where everybody was at, seeing how different. So there's all these different stories you could tell. I mean, like you just said, we could get Batgirl. We could get a story where it actually tells us what happened to Jason Todd. There could be a Dick Grayson story in this world. There could be, there's so many. You just pick so
Where's
many
everyone
different
else?
characters.
Yeah.
Where's everyone else? And they can have their own little soul that kind of explains, like, oh well, yeah, Dick did in this world. Maybe Dick didn't have a super issue with Batman. He completed his training, and maybe he's at college right
Stuck
now.
around, or that. Yep.
Yeah, maybe Bruce is like, you're done with your training. I want you to finish college, and then you can decide if we don't know what happened. Is Tim Drake here? Do we have a Tim Drake?
What is Metropolis like in this world?
What is Metropolis? Yeah, where's Superman at? What's up with the Justice League? See, there's so much stuff you could do.
Yeah.
There's so many little side things you could do to explore the world. So, I mean, it's a possibility, but you're right. You could get to the end of this, and the story could be satisfying enough where I'm like, you know what? I don't want anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be satisfied with this, and I'll just reread this. Because as of right now, the rereadability of this series is pretty high for me so far.
High. I will say yes, it is pretty high because there's a lot to dissect.
Oh,
and we did a very kind of quick review. That way we can get to more of the discussion of it in the end.
Oh yeah, I couldn't imagine once this ends, like the kind of discussion I could have about this series.
Yes, sir. But let's go ahead and give our score on this, and then we can go ahead and get out of here, though.
Whew. Oh boy. I don't remember what my score was for the first issue. I remember it was pretty high.
I think mine was modest.
I know yours is modest. Mine was not modest. Mine was like probably similar to what I'm probably going to give this issue, which is a 9. Okay. I'm going to give this a 9. I think I gave the first issue possibly a 9 for the same reason, and I think I was reserved with that 9 because I wanted to see where the series went. I didn't want to start off giving it something too high and then it's too much to live up to. But this is a 9. I love if you remember the first issue, I wanted an explanation about Harley Quinn on that cover. I have that here. I got an explanation of Harley. I like the explanation that they gave. I like the way that they portray this relationship going forward with these two characters. I enjoy the way that they continue to beat Batman down and make it believable for people to start hating Batman.
Right.
I love the callback to the animated series, and I might get hate for this, Batman and Robin.
It's odd that that's in there. Very
yeah, it is odd. It was odd in the first issue because I was like, I would think
fan of it themselves.
Well, that or maybe they might be a fan of just that one little idea. I mean, that is an interesting story element that puts a longtime Batman villain as a Batman ally. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Still love the art in it. Still like the way that this looks and is presented to me. So overall, there's enough in here for me to definitely warrant my 9. I know you're probably gonna be a little bit more modest, but that's fine. I love it. Love it.
Love it. All right. With that being said, I'm going to give it an 8. 8 out of 10.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, talking about it more, and I do have to consider the art because we didn't really touch on the art that much. I really do love the art. It definitely does give it all kinds of vibes. Like we were saying earlier, it gives it the animated vibe when that's kind of thrown in there, especially that last when they were introducing all the villains at the end. That was brilliantly done. Some of the Gotham City landscape was very 91 or 89 Batman mixed in with the even more gothic feel to it. But yeah, there's still a lot. I have a lot of questions. I didn't think we got enough scenes of some of the Bruce stuff. They are playing that because we have 6 more issues to go at this point. So yeah, maybe they are taking things slow right now with the second issue. I just want things to pick up a little bit more as it does ramp on to the last issue, and I still can't wait to see where it goes. I'm still just a little mixed on it right now. I have more questions, like I said earlier, than thoughts.
Oh boy,
oh boy, indeed. But that's the episode. As we made it through that, we want to thank you, everyone who's listening, for tuning in. But this is going to be released on New Comic Book Day. We have our X-Men Monday, which is going to be on the feed by the time you're hearing this as well. What else? We got our Uncanny Sessions coming out in 2 weeks. We got our Spider-Woman Volume 3 discussion coming out soon as well. So yeah, stay tuned for all that. Excuse me. Thanks for hanging out again with us. And this show will be back in 2 weeks. But other than that, you got anything else to say, Alan?
No, just see everybody in 2 weeks for this show. But like you said, you can stick around for some more other shows that we have.
That's right. And big news coming January.
Oh, yeah.
So stay tuned for that. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.